What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk a lot about one specific card in One Piece that I think a lot of people should be paying attention to over the next couple weeks because real life events are more than likely going to affect the price of the card in the short term. Long term, I also think it's a fairly solid investment. So we will get into that. We'll talk a little bit about risk because, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of trying to de-risk, especially in TCGs. And I feel like a lot of people, a lot of other YouTubers in this space really don't talk about that enough or even acknowledge it. So we will go into that later in the video. We're also going to start with a little bit of value, talking about some sealed products that are doing some interesting things right now. And then also I do want to say I'm super sick right now. So if I'm fumbling over my words a little bit, coughing, sneezing, whatever, thank you for bearing with me. I'll try and edit out as much as I can. But starting off, OP11, we've talked about this box multiple times over the past couple weeks on the channel. We were sitting around $140. I said this was a great buy just because of the cards inside, especially with the gold and silver Luffy cards going up in price. The Gear 4 manga is also up to around $650 now, making it a no-brainer. We're up to around 170 bucks. We're now back down, actually, surprisingly, to the mid 140s, 146, 147 on TCG Player. I had one person comment on my video yesterday saying they can confirm that they're getting a reprint or something from distro. I'm not saying I believe or don't believe that person, but it is only one data point. So it would be nice if more people were able to show me or just at least acknowledge that there is a reprint or restock happening. Or even if there's someone out there that just wants to email me, to show proof of confirmation, that's great as well. It's good information to have and we can get it out to other people. Either way, the box has come back down in price, and I think this presents a decent buying opportunity. If you guys don't have OP11 yet, I do recommend owning some of this, especially for the long term, just having those really strong Luffy chase cards. Now, the box could get reprinted in the future. It could come down in price. Again, there's no guarantee that happens, so I would recommend getting some now at this decent price around the mid 140s, and then if in the future it is cheaper, you can always plan to dollar cost average at that time and buy more. So that's always an option there. But if you don't have any, I do recommend taking advantage of this pullback. Now after that, PRBO2, this is another interesting one. About 3 or 4 days ago, this was a $160 box on TCG Player. We're now up to around $180 USD, and recent sales are fairly close to 180 from the past 24 hours or so. You do have a couple lower ones, but a lot in that 179 range. This is a really strong set in my opinion. I know compared to PRBO1, a lot of people are finding it underwhelming, which is fair. You had all the manga reprints in that. I think the Gold Dawns as well. I think a lot of people preferred the ones from PRBO1, and that's fine. Again, also we have OP13 coming. I think a lot of people are planning to put a lot of money into that set, whether it's for investments or also just to open and try and chase some of those top cards. So PRBO2, I feel like it's being ignored a little bit right now. I actually just purchased a case last night. Well, I shouldn't say a case, 10 boxes from HPW. Hopefully it comes in a sealed case. I think it came out to around 2,200 Canadian, so $220 per box, something like that. And it's a great set, guys. Honestly, you have the Sanji manga up top, over $1,000. So not every set has a chase card over $1,000. You have that. You have a solid secondary card, Gum Gum Giant, over $400. All the Gold Dawns, and I love a lot of these too. I don't really care what anyone says. My favorite probably is the Shanks with the eye. I think it just looks awesome. But you also have the manga event rares like Cross Guild. You have the Come On We'll Fight You card. These are great as well. And like with OP11, if you don't have any, I do recommend buying some now because I think the box is probably going to get more expensive as time goes on. It's also a premium booster. Bandai has at least shown to this point that they're not really willing to reprint their premium boosters or their extra boosters. Mainline sets like 09, OP11, OP13, these are sets that, at least up till this point in the One Piece TCG, are more likely to get reprinted. And this basically means that a dollar cost averaging strategy probably isn't going to work because if you don't get reprints, the price of the box probably isn't going to come down. Again, sealed booster boxes are deflationary. Obviously, in the first couple years, while it's in print, it's not. There is the potential for the box to get reprinted and for more of them to be out there. But after a box goes out of rotation, after Bandai stops printing it, every single day, there's less and less of them out there. So buy some PRB02 as well. I do think it's going to be a strong long-term hold. Now, before we talk about the last couple sealed boxes and talk about the card I think everyone should look at, I did want to just jump in here and say about 2/3 of you guys watching these videos aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you're enjoying the content, you're getting some value out of it, I'd really appreciate if you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below for the algorithm. It really does help out a ton with just growing and reaching more people. So if you are already subscribed or you're planning on doing it, thank you in advance. I really do appreciate it, guys. Now, moving on, OP06, Wings of the Captain. I know this box is sitting around $150, nothing crazy. It's been in this range for a while. Keep an eye on this though. The last couple sales on TCG Player, you have a box selling at 165, 175, and another one at 175. Those were all from October 20th. You can see on that day, you actually had seven boxes, excuse me, sell the product. So maybe it continues moving higher. And I think it is only a matter of time. It's not the deepest set in One Piece. It's kind of somewhere in the middle, I'd say, at this point. But the Zoro manga is really strong, over $1,000 raw at this point. You have the Miss All Sunday, Rebecca. The Nami Treasure Rare is actually the fourth most expensive card in the set now, around $80. It's actually passed over the Buggy. But I do think it's a respectable set, and whether it's in 2026 or in 2027 when it starts to make its large move, it's yet to be known. Either way, long term. Again, guys, like if you're investing in sealed product, you really need to go into it with the plan to hold for at least 5 years, in my opinion. Maybe minimum like 2 to 3 years if we're in a really hot market and you can get your money out of things. But the longer you hold stuff, ideally, that's where you're going to see your largest returns. And the final box I did want to just touch on, Pillars of Strength. This is around $270 on TCG Player, but the most recent sales, basically at $300 plus. I mean, you have one here at $311, $350, $349. That's from October 17th, 18th, and 19th. We will be taking a look at this on the 30th. Again, if you are in the spreadsheet, if you want to get access to it as well, link in the description down below. It's going to be interesting to see what's going on with eBay North America in terms of where this box is listed and how many of them are selling. Now, to get into the card, we're already like 8 minutes into the video. I can see recording this. The Luffy Dodgers promo. This is a very interesting card right now. You can see over the past month, it's up 22.56%. If you guys don't follow baseball, you might be a little bit puzzled why the card is moving up. The LA Dodgers are currently in the World Series. They'll be taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, actually. So crazy. It's the first time in like 32 years the Blue Jays have made the World Series. Either way, they are favorites to win. And I do think that considering this is a Luffy card, it is a very popular promo. It was illustrated by Oda. If the Dodgers win the World Series, I would not be surprised if this gets all the way up to like $750, $800 plus in the short term. Now, a lot of people buying this card currently are kind of doing it with the anticipation that the Dodgers are going to win. They probably are favorites, but they're viewing it as a short-term play. If you can buy the card for $500, it gets up to $800. You sell it for like a 40% margin there, you get your money out, great. So a lot of people are going to be going into it with the short-term approach. And that's fine. If you want to hop on that trend and try and make that play, great. Just understand the risk. I mean, if the Dodgers lose the World Series, the card price is probably going to come down fairly quickly. Also, even if they win, it still could get rug pulled fairly quickly. So just be careful in the short term. And again, this is where risk comes in. Cards like this, individual cards, not sealed products, they are more volatile. They're subject to move at faster rates than the sealed products. So if you're not keeping up with this on a weekly, daily basis, even an hourly basis for something like this, you could ultimately be shooting yourself in the foot. But if you know what you're doing, it could also be a home run. I would recommend not touching this card in the short term. Even if you want it for the long term, I would probably just wait until like a month or two after the World Series. Now, that might age like milk. If the Dodgers win and the card price just stays up around 800, 1,000 plus, it might establish a new floor that's a couple $100 higher than what it previously was. Now, if you're looking at this card as a long-term hold, maybe you're buying it raw, you want to send it off for grading, maybe you just want to buy a PSA 10 right now, I think that's fine. I've actually talked to a couple people in consultation calls over the past month about this card. And although I'm not the largest fan of the One Piece sports promo crossovers, I think this is probably the best one. I mean, the card is illustrated by Oda, which definitely gives it a lot more weight than any other Luffy promo. I also think the card is unique. And the one thing I do love about promo cards, which is something we should touch on because we talked about booster boxes being deflationary as time goes on, there's less and less of them out there. In theory, promo cards are also deflationary. Obviously, the Dodgers and Bandai could do another promo and reprint the card, but that's very unlikely to happen. And as time goes on, there is going to be more cards that get damaged, they get lightly played with, whatever. Some cards get destroyed, whether it's in a house fire, or, I don't know, thrown into a lake or whatever, right? Like cards get destroyed as time goes on. And I think the rate at which that happens is almost negligible. So again, that's kind of why it's, in theory, it could be a deflationary asset. But point being, this is a very good promo card, and in the short term, depending on what happens with the World Series, it's either going to go up or down in price. And if you want to zoom out and view this kind of with a macro lens on the hobby, you definitely can. I mean, when we saw EBO3 get announced, Uta got our manga card, the SPs were unveiled, a lot of the Nami cards, Utas, Boa Hancocks, those increased in price. And there will definitely be other times in the future when a new set gets announced and maybe you have, I don't know, like a really popular Shanks card in there or something, and then people go back looking at some of the other Shanks cards that are potentially undervalued and start to pump those. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, guys, I'm really sick right now, so my brain is absolutely fried, but I did want to get this video out here before the World Series starts, and you guys can pay attention to it if you want. Again, if you guys got some value out of this video, I'd really appreciate if you leave a like, subscribe to the channel. It does help out a ton. Also, thank you all for the recent support on the channel. We're growing at an insane rate. Honestly, my goal was to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It might even happen by like the middle of November at the rate we're going. It's just crazy right now. And that's all thanks to you guys just, being here, watching the videos, leaving your comments and stuff. So I gotta thank you guys. With all that said, appreciate you watching. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.